Well, last night in one of his final acts as US Secretary of State, the great Mike Pompeo accused the Chinese Communist Party of carrying out genocide against Muslim Uyghurs and other minority groups in the western Xinjiang province. In The Spectator Australia this week, David Adler from the Australian Jewish Association draws parallels between the plight of the Uyghurs and the persecution of the Jews in World War II, and he asks the question, what is the Australian government and the world doing to stop it? Anything? Adler rightly praises South Australian Independent Senator Rex Patrick, who has put forward a bill that would ban Chinese goods made with Uyghur slave labour. I spoke with Senator Patrick earlier. Senator, great to see you. Firstly, what did you make of Mike Pompeo's remarks last night?
Well, I think it's a very positive step. Anything that is done in relation to China has to be done on a multilateral basis. And this is a very strong statement from the outgoing Trump administration. But I will point out that the Biden administration or the president-elect had indicated prior to the election that he would call out genocide in China as well in relation to the Uyghurs.
Excellent. Well, Senator, explain the bill that you've been proposing and how would it work?
I'm proposing that the Australian government ban the import of any products where the supply chain utilises forced Uyghur labour in either Xinjiang or more broadly across Western China. We have to stand up. Marise Payne has been talking about the atrocious events that are taking place in Western China, but unfortunately the Australian government hasn't acted. This bill gives us a chance to put rubber on the road and to join in with our international colleagues in making it very loud and clear to China that what is happening there is unacceptable.
So practically, how do you think it would work? What would be the mechanism by which you would determine, okay, this telephone or this gizmo or whatever it is happens to have had Uyghur slave labour involved? How's the process involved?
Well, there's a lot of work that's already been done by organisations such as the Australian Strategic Policy Institute that have delved into these supply chains and named the various different suppliers. One of the things that we will do in the Senate is hold an inquiry. We'll bring Border Force before the Defence, Foreign Affairs and Trade Committee who's examining the bill, and we'll certainly be talking to Border Force about how they would use both public domain information and intelligence. That's typically the way our Border Force operates, to identify cargo that is at high risk of breaching the laws if they were to pass, and it would be up to Customs to then inspect anything that's coming in and then appropriately deal with it.
So are there any products you can mention that you know of at the moment, or is that to be determined?
Well, there are a range of very big players who have involvement in this. I'll just name a couple well-known brands like Nike, Volkswagen. A wide range of well-known companies are using Uyghur slave labour, and of course we need to make sure we send strong messages to them that that is not acceptable.
And Senator, how do we define Uyghur slave labour? Everyone has the mental image of something out of Ben-Hur or something with chains and whips, but we're not talking about that. What are we talking about when we talk about Uyghur slave labour?
Well, we've seen about 1 million, perhaps slightly more than that, Uyghurs that have been put in internment camps across Western China. And we know that about 80,000 of those people have been moved into situations where they're engaged in forced labour. Again, there are well-identified locations around Western China where it's clear that forced labour is being used, and that's our starting point. If the bill is brought into law, and I'm hoping to get coalition and Labor support, then obviously Border Force would need to take a very close look at the information that is available, sharing that no doubt with the United States and other players. The United States has acted quite strongly. They have had a similar bill passed through their lower house, And of course, the UK are now acting in relation to companies that are utilising forced labour. So this would be a cooperative effort across our traditional allies.
And just finally, Senator, before you go, what's been the reaction from China?
Well, China denies that there is anything untoward taking place. They refer to the camps as re-education camps. And that's one of the major problems that we've got here. We've got to stand up. You know, other things we ought to be doing is not attending the Beijing 2022 Olympics as well, sending a strong message, because the Chinese are simply trying to wash this under the carpet.
Senator Rex Patrick, thanks so much for talking to us tonight, and keep up the great work, and good luck with the bill, and I hope the government gets behind it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.